Hello and welcome to Midlife with Mystics and Misfits. I'm CeCe.
And I'm Jen.
Hello, girl. How are you?
So well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm lovely.
Yeah. You look gorgeous. You look fresh.
So do you, as always.
Well, thank you. It's been beautiful here. So in Ontario, it's been gorgeous.
Ooh, you're
I,
lucky.
I love when spring feels
Mm,
like daylight savings comes and it just feels like warmth and so good. It's
it's
so,
so good. My favorite
yeah.
part is getting the house clean.
Do you go through that? Do you go through like a spring cleaning kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as the fresh air hits, it's like, ooh, everything needs to get everything needs to get clean.
Windows open, things cleared out.
Everything. I actually took everything out of my living room the other day. All my tables, everything. I took everything outside because they're
Yep.
all rough wood
Yep.
and they're not sealed. So I took everything out and I blew everything out with like a whatever you call it. My husband will kill me. Whatever that blowy thing is, the air hose, and right, and got everything. Just it feels so fresh.
Oh, I love that feeling. It's true. I know. Especially it's been like a winter, man. It has been a really long, cold, snowy winter here. Has it been there too?
Yeah, since just after Christmas.
Hmm.
And that's when it feels the worst. Well, that's when it feels the longest,
Yeah, I know. Those
right?
January blues into February, and then now it's like, okay, I can see the light. I can see it. It's coming.
Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's there. It's there.
Yeah. So how's your week been? What's been going on?
It's been good. There's always lots going on. There's always lots going on. I have been practicing surrender and boundaries all at the same time.
Damn surrender. It just keeps coming up for us.
Damn, it
What's going on?
does.
So how are we surrendering and boundarying?
Right? Well, it's interesting because the more I've been the more I've been surrendering, the more boundaries have been coming up. The whole concept of boundaries. And not even boundaries in like the flat out way where we like say no, but like boundaries for your nervous system.
Ooh, tell me more. Okay, first of all, what do you define a boundary as?
Well, I'm getting to define a boundary as something that does not dysregulate me,
Ooh, I like that.
which is
Okay.
which is very encompassing. So
Mm,
it's like there's so many different levels to boundaries. And if you think about it in that term, if it's something that doesn't dysregulate you, then it's
mm,
boundaries regarding your nervous system. It's
yeah.
boundaries. It's like physical hard boundaries of I will not tolerate this or that because it's going to dysregulate me. So yeah, so it's been a week of surrendering to what is and at the same time realizing I don't have hard enough boundaries in certain areas, especially in regards to like my own mental health and my nervous system.
Okay, so boundaries are not so much rules for others, but rules for who you allow in that make you feel safe.
Love that. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
I
Do you have a
listen,
different
girl.
version of it?
No, I don't have boundaries. So this
No.
is a really good
Oh my god, I
thing
love
that
us. We're so yin and yang.
I need to get boundaries. So when you're like, I hear, okay, here's the, if I'm going to be honest, I've heard people have used boundaries on me in many, relationship dynamics. And I always get a bit irritated by that. I'm like, okay, I hear you. I need to set more boundaries or they feel like they need to set boundaries with me. Maybe, maybe this is why they're bringing it up. And I always feel, if I'm honest, probably a little, maybe defensive or irritated for sure. And so obviously it's a mirror they're holding up that it's like, you need to start looking and setting some boundaries because I'm like, I don't have boundaries for you. Why should you have boundaries for me? And maybe I'm like, oh, as you talk, I'm like, oh shit. So it's not a rule that
Wait
I'm
a
putting on to others. It's a rule that I'm like a limit or something I'm placing upon myself that I'm not allowing others to be creating a dysregulated, like you said, or an unsafe space in me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me an example because I'm so curious for you. Okay, what's a boundary that has gotten put in place that you've gotten irritated about? I know you don't want to talk about it, but talk about it
No,
anyways.
no, I can't even think of an exact like they when they I just hear them say, and it's less about putting it maybe on me. Uh, maybe I need to. Oh, okay. Here's one because I'm really, and you know this. I am horrible at returning texts. I have a very stringent social media and time limit boundary. I guess who knew I had that?
You too.
Oh my god! Thank God
You
you're
have a
holding.
boundary. See?
And so I like after a certain time, I don't turn on my phone. I give my 100% attention to myself, yoga, my children, whatever it is I'm doing. Um yeah, and it's been something even with my kids. I mean, people hear that I have a 15 and a 13-year-old and they're like they only get an hour of screen time a day. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Because we don't do that. We come in, we put our phones away, they don't sleep when they're with their phones in their rooms. We don't do it. And I don't either. Like it's just something we just don't do. And so because it has a tendency to be addicting and I've been addicted to it, in the past.
Yeah.
So people are now I could get better at that. Like I then like, 3 days go by and I'm like, "Ooh, I should get back to those 5 million texts that I have." Cuz then it gets overwhelming and then I avoid.
God, but I love it because you do see you do have boundaries for yourself. You're teaching your daughters boundaries to take care of themselves and their mindset
Yeah.
and their
Yeah.
sleep patterning, right? That's a huge deal.
Okay, so now that you say it, okay, 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 I will.
That's
So
a
anyway,
huge
I've
deal.
I've hijacked the conversation.
No, no, I love that because you're like, people say, "Really?" And like so the outside noise, so we often deal with all the inside chatter, but then
Yeah,
there's the outside noise of, again, just like you said, your boundary makes me uncomfortable,
yeah,
right? So you
yeah.
hear that from other people. You're like, when you say that, other people get uncomfortable because it's probably something most people would love to do, right? I don't know if I have the boundary balls to put my phone down for that long
Yeah.
because I'm so connected to my daughter. She's far away and family. And like, I don't know if I have that boundary for myself yet. So you have shone a light on a place where I don't prioritize that boundary.
Well, there you go. Well, because you know what I
High five,
often
kudos.
yay! You know, and that's the thing, because I often say to people, remember when, and you and I can remember, and many listeners will remember, when we didn't have a cell phone and you couldn't
Ugh,
contact me at and expect a response immediately?
honest to
I'm
goodness.
like, remember when we had answering machines and we'd maybe check it once every couple of days?
Honestly. And then even then we would like, you'd hit the button and you'd be like, "Ugh, I have to listen to other people. What?" Right? And now we're like holding a device that is in our face 24/7
Constant.
if we let it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about the boundaries. What boundaries are you seeing that you need to start implementing maybe a bit more?
It, the biggest one, the biggest revelation this week has been on the side of my nervous system.
Mm,
So outside of and even okay, I'll give you an example. Let's try to make it so I can explain it better without rambling on. So say you have something to say, something you have to tell someone, and um from circumstance, because you know somebody really good, you have a feeling on how they're going to respond, react, whatever the case is. So typically in my energy field, in my nervous system field, I would brace for that. I would
mm,
brace for whatever the response was, the reaction was, whatever. So
mhm,
what I have come to realize this week in that we actually have nervous system boundaries we can put in place too is I've never given myself the opportunity to go, I don't really care what the reaction is or the response is. I'm not going to allow it to move the needle on whether I speak my truth or I have
Yeah.
to say what I have to say or not, and really stay in my own sovereignty with it and not brace for it, not like hold my nervous system in a certain way.
Mm.
Right, and I don't even know if that's a boundary thing. To me, that's like a boundary thing because I create like, now I'm creating a place in my own being that it outside circumstances, I'm not letting them affect me like I used to.
And I absolutely
Does that
think
make sense?
completely, because that's well, I would even say that's either maybe an energy boundary, I don't know if there's such a thing, or maybe just even a
Yeah.
communication boundary, allowing and again, if we go back to what we were kind of chatting about, what is a boundary earlier,
Mhm.
um, setting a limit for self. I'm not participating in this anymore. I'm not doing it.
Yes.
I'm not going to allow that to happen. You guys can still react or behave or do whatever you want, but I'm not going to let it affect me, or I'm not going to participate in a certain way or a capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, which goes back to holding space for others, obviously, but
Mm.
it's such a different it's such a different workaround with it when it was like, we do have hard physical boundaries of, "No, you cannot show up my house at midnight." That's like a hard boundary, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's a hard boundary. Like, it's silly, but just so the audience can understand. And
Yeah.
then we've got our emotional boundaries too
Yeah.
that we put in place, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then we've got our nervous system boundaries. So, it's just been this, like, little bit of self-discovery of that this week.
Ooh. Okay. And
Mhm.
so, like, what are your takeaways? Like what so you've now you realize, okay, I need to start implementing or setting some boundaries for self. And
Yeah,
have
well,
you shared those or have you communicated those?
no, because I don't think they need communicating,
Ooh,
to be quite
okay.
honest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They're not
Okay.
it's they're not ones that they're not revelations that need communicating in a specific way of, um, "Hey, I'm gonna tell you stuff, and I'm not gonna care about your reaction to it." Like, I don't need to say that to anybody.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
get to let them have their own experience. I get to let them surrender on their end to whatever it is that goes on with them.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
You like it, right? And I've been thinking it like I've been thinking about it too much, but I've been working it over and over and over in my head.
Mhm.
And like even to the point of having someone in your life who's at a different frequency than you are, right?
Mm.
Like just not on the same page. And I mean, we have options for that. We can immerse ourselves in it as if it's part of our world, or we can sit back and hold the space for it, which I've been really trying to do with a lot of people in my life. I've just been trying to be space, right?
Mhm.
Do whatever you do. And then from that is where this came from because I was like, that's all good and fine, but I'm still being asked to be emotionally involved
Mm.
in other people's worlds, right?
Yeah.
And not that I mind sometimes, I don't. I love being involved with people. People are my passion, but not at the extent of it disrailing my own nervous system. And you
Okay.
know as well as I do that in perimenopause, in middle age, our nervous system becomes very freaking like it becomes precious. Like when we get
Very fresh.
stability in that area,
Yeah.
w-
Not
I
giving it
want to
up.
hold on to it. Yeah,
Yeah, not
I
giving it
want to
up.
hold on to the stability and not be dysregulated in everybody else's dysregulated nervous system.
Mm.
I think that's like my biggest takeaway.
Okay, so then, because honestly, this is new for me in terms of I've heard boundaries. Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm
we've
not
talked
very good
about
with.
them.
Pardon?
We've talked about them lots,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. So how are you going to now set them? Like, what have you done? Like, are there steps that you've taken that whether you share them or communicate them or not, what are you going to do for you to make sure that you set this and you follow it, I guess? You hold the boundary.
Ooh, well, I feel like I don't know if that's possible. I think that it's gonna be,
Mhm.
like, a trial and error over time of being conscious enough to, um, look at how your nervous system feels on a day-to-day basis, like, on a minute like, an interaction to interaction basis. I mean, I can dysregulate my nervous system all by myself. I don't need
Right.
external help, right?
Yes.
We've got
Yes.
we've got midlife anxiety, we've got all the other stuff that comes into play. So, I don't know if there's, like, a checklist of that I'm gonna do these things, but it's more of a, I guess, a quiet check-in with self.
Mm.
Like, really going internal of, am I allowing myself to be pulled out and into other dysregulated nerve systems, or am I able to stay in my own and try to regulate?
Right.
I feel like I'm
Right.
babbling. I don't know if this is making sense. I don't even know if it makes sense in my own
You're
head.
not. I think you're working through it, and it's so interesting. So if we are talking about like other boundaries, because
Mhm.
now I'm thinking about like my own, right? And what can I do? Because I know that I recognize that I've been setting boundaries as you've been talking around
Mhm.
time and for self, and trying to teach my kids how to set boundaries. And so two things are coming up right away for me. Why is it so hard, and why has it been so hard for me? And many, from my experience, women especially, but I think all people, to set boundaries. This is why it's such like a buzzword
Y
right now.
yeah.
And like, what do you actually do to set it and then continue to follow through? Like, um, yeah, that's where my head's at.
Hmm. Well, I know when I first started setting, like, hardcore boundaries, probably only, like, a year and a half ago, where I was
Mm,
like because my nervous system was getting so dysregulated that it was like that was the bottom of the barrel that I needed to do for myself was,
yeah.
"Alright, I need to start taking care of me and this
Hmm.
vessel," and the only way I can do that is to get really uncomfortable making other people uncomfortable and setting some boundaries, and it's
Mm.
hard.
That's
If
what it is hard.
it's
That's the thing. It's like, oh my goodness, like I can't even, the thought of it
well
is making me cringe a little bit.
If we think about it in the terms of, like, our own bubble, so we have our own little bubble, it's our own comfort zone that we sit in, right? And if you think of it like an elastic band, if we have to set a boundary, that means we actually have to move that elastic band just a little bit further
Yeah.
and not let it shrink back in. Sorry if that was loud. But,
No.
like like, we can't let it snap back. And that's the uncomfortable part because now we've stretched that bubble of ours out a little bit further, that there's
Hmm.
so much more stuff that can't come in, that we've expanded, and we can't tolerate certain things to be in there now. And I think that's what's uncomfortable. It's like that stretching feeling of, I am now taking accountability and ownership for what's all happening in my space. And that's where it gets uncomfortable because,
Yeah.
right? Radical accountability it's crazy. It's a
Yeah.
difficult, uncomfortable, like, just talking about it, I'm just like, oh,
Me too. I'm like, eh,
yeah,
the
yeah.
thought of that. But you know what? It's interesting because I'm wondering if would be something I would love to have, like a poll from people who listen to this.
Mhm.
If, you know, people who are maybe more empathetic or feminine energies are have more difficulty with this. Like, I wonder if it's like a certain kind of social, the way that we were raised, parenting styles, or if this is, something that is more um, dominant among a type of, um,
I'm so curious.
yeah,
I know for
like,
people pleasers, boundaries,
yes.
which I was most of my life,
Uh-huh.
it's the hardest freaking thing. It is the hardest thing to do.
So describe for me, what do you think a people pleaser is? Because I have just learned that I think I might have been, and yet I'm like, oh no, I wasn't. I am not. What are you talking about? And now I'm like, oh shit, I think I might be. Like,
For
why
me,
do you think you were a people pleaser?
my version of being a people pleaser was
Mhm.
putting, everybody's else's needs before mine. I put myself on the back burner, um, for decades. Well, probably since I was little. I mean, I think it's ingrained in us somewhere from early childhood. And
Mm,
I mean, if I look back on my childhood, it probably came from wanting attention or not getting it in a certain way or whatever the case is. So then you try to prove yourself. And then you into adulthood, you're always trying to prove yourself. And I did it as an adult through food. Everywhere I went, I would cook. I would cook something, I would bring it to wherever I was going, and it wasn't up until about probably 5 or 6 years ago, I had gone through a really hard dark night of the soul and realized that that was part of my people pleasing. I
mm,
wanted to be I wanted to feel like I was contributing and making other people happy. And it was at the detriment of myself even because there's lots of times that I would make shit to bring places and I didn't internally really want to. But I was
mhm,
like, this is who I am. This is my identity. This is what I do. And I remember the first time that I didn't do it, I had gone to Karen's place. We were having a gathering. There was a gathering there,
yeah,
which I would have went all out for. I would have cooked up a bunch of stuff. I would have made a bunch
yeah,
of stuff.
yeah.
And I showed up at her place and she made me a drink and I looked around at the other people that were there and I went and all of a sudden it got really uncomfortable and I was like, "Oh, I didn't make anything." I'm like,
Watch it because
and
CeCe brings it all the time.
I was like, I was like, in that moment, I was like, "I am so sorry." And she was like, "Wait, what? What are you apologizing for?" I'm like, Well, I always bring food." And she's like, "That's not your identity with us, just so you know." And I was like, "It's not?" I'm like, "Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
I can try to feel comfortable here, right?" So it was a matter of always giving, 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 and never, giving back to so at gatherings, I never felt settled in myself. I never felt good anyways, right? It was never just me in presence in the room. So that was, a weird small boundary that if I didn't feel like bringing something, I was no longer gonna do it to to make other people happy to prove that I could. It was
Right,
more of what would make me happy. Would
right.
bringing something make me happy? And if not, that's okay too. And so I stopped making it about having to make other people happy to feel good about myself. So that
Mm.
was a hard, weird boundary that naturally happened.
Would you say, because when you were speaking and I was reflecting on my own people pleasing tendencies, do you feel like when we are feeling, I guess the word might be resentment, that that is our cue, that that's probably a boundary that we need to put into place?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Resentment
Yeah.
is a huge cue that you're dysregulated, that something
Yeah.
has dysregulated our nervous systems and our bodies and our minds so much so because something's not in place
Mm,
to keep us in our sovereignty with it.
mhm.
Yes, absolutely. And
Okay.
I find that probably now that you said that, that's probably my biggest tell is when I start to feel resentful about people, places, or things.
Mm, mm.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a good one. Good job on that.
Yeah. Okay, so
Good
we're
job.
gonna that's my mirror. I'm gonna when I start to feel resentful, that's the first thing I'm gonna start, like, trying to remember. We'll hold each other accountable.
Yeah. So can you
Yeah.
think of any times then in the past that you have felt like that and now you're like, "Oh, I could have put something in place?"
Girl,
I know. We're
I'm
like,
like, "Shit." My whole life, like, this whole last year, I'm like, this is the I think I've explained it in the last podcast. I was like, I was ready to blow up my life. I literally was like
yeah.
so now I'm like, "Holy shit, maybe it was just I needed maybe I wasn't mentally insane. Maybe
You
I just
know you
needed
weren't.
boundaries." No, and that's the thing. So here I am, maybe because again, I have felt so much constriction. I can feel what's happening is my voice is constricting at the thought of
Mind
having
you.
to speak the boundary. And so I'm like kind of digging into that, going like, well, why? Like, why have we and why do I have that reaction when others try to impose like or break or maybe push through my boundary or I would even say when people say the word boundary, I do even get uncomfortable. Any kind of stretching, like you were saying,
Yeah.
is uncomfortable. We know when
Yeah.
we're uncomfortable, we're moving, and that's the best thing that we can be doing. But yeah,
It's
it's not easy.
it's the scariest too at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I my menopause brain, I just lost my train of thought, but, um,
It's normal. It's what we do.
wha whatever. Welcome to midlife.
Okay, so
It's all
resentment.
good.
That's gonna be
Resentment.
our
Yeah.
that's gonna be our clue for, okay, there maybe is a boundary that needs to be implemented
Mm,
here.
yeah,
What has
absolutely. Physically, though, that tightening, the tightening in the chest and in the throat
Mhm,
and all of that is
mhm,
another sign and it's another signal.
mhm.
And if we're really surrendering to ourselves, taking note of that stuff is it's an
Yeah.
instant tell. It's an instant tell.
I was in yoga the other day, and the yoga instructor, said, I want you to focus," and my leg was up and above my head, and she's like, "I want you to focus on your big toe." And I was like, "What?" Usually they say focus on your breath, or she's like, "'Cause if you can't even focus on your big toe, how are you supposed to be in your body right now?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh my
It
god.
was
See?
so it's so interesting about how, like, being cognizant of where we feel things in our body is it I mean, so important as well. I
It's
love this.
so it's so
O
important.
Okay,
I know,
question.
it's yes, go.
Okay, no, what were you gonna say?
No, no, go. I don't know. Go.
Okay. So now I'm like, I'm all on my boundary kick. Okay, so what has been, oh, this might be really, like, big. What has been the biggest or the most difficult boundary that you have set that you can think of? Ooh, this is a good
The
one. For
biggest
those of
one
Yeah.
the biggest one for me was saying no to family.
Ooh, tell me more. What does that mean?
Well,
I can feel this is really uncomfortable for you.
it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's
I
super
can feel it.
uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
super uncomfortable.
Yep.
Well, I mean, saying no to family is for me has always probably been the hardest thing
Mhm,
because I mean, I grew up in a family of 6 and we did everything all the time, right? There
mhm,
was 3 girls, 3 boys, um, and we always had people around. So family was like, you were obligated to go to the funerals, you were obligated to go to the weddings, you were obligated to sit on auntie's or uncle's lap. You were like, so there was a lot of that feeling growing up through childhood. And then even the parent structure that I had when Chris and I got married, everything was out of obligation. So God love them. They are who they are. I don't crucify them. I mean, I don't speak to my parents, but I love them dearly because I
mhm,
know they couldn't have done anything any different and neither could we. We were where we were. But everything was out of obligation.
mhm,
And I even found that um like even and my sister's gonna watch this, and she knows I love her to death, but
mhm,
my sister lives, like, 5 minutes from me, and we've been close our whole lives, but things have not having the kids at home and with Chris out 14 days and back 14 days, things really started shifting over the last 3 years where this is where the uncomfortableness comes in because my time is so precious to me that even though my beautiful sister wants to spend every waking minute with me,
mhm,
that I'm like, I can't regulate by
mhm.
being there for anybody but myself and my husband right now,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And that realization has been the hardest thing for me. I know it's been very hard on her too, because it's like because we've always been there for each other all the time, to have to go it doesn't work for me the way it used to work for me is a severely it's like
So
it's the one that
hard.
makes me yeah, it's the one that's like it's sticky and it feels muddy, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's freeing, and at the same time, it's like, I know it's exactly right. Like, I know it's exactly right.
It's what
And
you
then
need.
it's what I need, and it's what Chris and I need
Yeah. Yeah.
together. Like, it's where we're at, right? So, that's been difficult to like, stick to because old patterning wants to draw me out and be like,
Mhm.
"Ah, alright." Right? And, um, and I've had to learn that whatever the, reaction is or the whatever the response is not it's not on me because I'm being true to myself.
Mm. So the follow through is important.
As hard as it is. Yeah.
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 Yeah, because I mean, it's really easy to lean into the fear, or the fear of hurting somebody's feelings, or hurt, or just not prioritizing self, and yet this was the reason that you've kind of implemented this space or this boundary, and
Mhm.
it's for you. It's not against her or any other people in your family.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I can give another quick example, even
yeah.
for my daughter. My daughter, she called from where were they at? I think they were in Greece. She called from Greece. I think it was last June. And she's like, "Mom," she's like, "I can get you a ticket to come and see me and go spend time with me in Italy next week." And I was like, "I have the time. I have all the
Yeah,
time in the world to go do it."
yeah,
And um part of me wavered because part of me is like, I do not want to disappoint this sweet human being
yeah,
who's offering to fly me to Europe. I mean,
yeah,
how many parents are that lucky,
yeah,
right? I'm like, I have that. And then on the other hand, I have a commitment to her father where him and I have never traveled to Europe together. And it is something so innate in me that I'm like, I don't want to travel to Europe without your dad for the first experience because that is something I want to experience with him.
right.
And so talk about like rock and hard place. I'm like, oh my God, I could have the experience of a lifetime, make
Yeah,
her super happy, but at the same time, I'm probably going to be miserable inside because I'm going to be thinking about the man who works night and day for the house and for the family and everything else. And I don't want to leave him behind for that. I want him to experience that with me.
yeah,
So I had to say no. And she was not I mean, she'll tell me later after she sees this podcast, but I'm sure she wasn't, like, super happy in the moment,
yeah,
but she's smart enough that she gets it at the same time.
yeah,
But, oh my god, talk about uncomfortable, I wanted to throw up. And I think she called me when I was at Karen's house, and Karen's like, you go! Don't you get on that plane. Don't worry about your husband." And I'm like, "No." Like, authentically in me, that doesn't match,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
That
It was
it
that
does
hell no. You were a hell no, and you didn't know how to stick with it or verbalize it.
Yeah, because you don't I mean, you got too many you've got so many players, you're like, "I don't wanna hurt anybody," but
Yeah,
mostly, I don't wanna neglect me anymore.
yeah.
I don't wanna neglect me anymore, and that would to go off and do that without the love of my life would be neglecting me,
Hmm. I love
right?
that. Yeah,
And I love being in that place because it's taken us a long time for him and I to get in that place where it's like, "Yeah, I don't wanna sacrifice us for a moment." Right?
yeah,
For a
yeah,
full moment. So that's another, like, family boundary that's been it's it's been difficult,
yeah. Wow. Wow. Those are hard ones. You're right. Oh my
right?
god.
And I love them both. Like, I love my sister so much, I love my daughter so much, like,
Mhm,
I love my family, but
mhm.
I can't sacrifice me anymore. And I don't know if
Yeah,
that's just part of midlife now or what it
yeah.
is.
Well, because as you're speaking, because when I asked you, what's been the hardest boundary? And I know that I am not good at setting boundaries. But as we've been discussing this, I've been reflecting, and I think that's been the hardest thing. I've even to myself, it's going to make me a little bit, I think, a little sad, because even like there was an
Mm.
incident that happened even with my kids tonight, and they had a chance to go play hockey at here and then here. And I was like, I've planned myself a yoga class and I was doing a podcast and I was like, and I was like, you know what? No, I do everything for so many people. And I'm like, I have started to set very clear, I'm going to yoga every single day. This is something that brings me so much joy and peace. And it gets
Mhm.
in the way sometimes of other people's expectations of me, right? I'm running all over the place, making dinner and getting kids to different events and carpooling with all these, picking up other people's kids and,
Absolutely.
like, and so, and they're doing it for me too, because, as a single mama. But that's the one thing that I'm finding the hardest. And I guess what I am doing is setting boundaries around myself and self-care and time. And I have said to myself, you are a mom first. You should be putting your kids first. Like, why are you? And other people have said it to me. They're like, okay, really? You're not going to do that? I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to drive 3 hours to go see a game when I've watched them play hockey all like week
Yeah,
long, right? And so
exactly.
this is where I'm finding it really hard because I feel selfish. I feel selfish.
Ooh, let's go to that topic.
Yeah.
Selfish versus selflessness.
Right? Well, that's the thing. That's why I was like, tell me what a boundary is. Because here's another thing I'm really focused on too is, as that came up, I'm like, what's the difference between a boundary and an ultimatum? Because this is where I'm kind of, I think what I said to you
Ooh,
at the
talk to me
beginning.
about that then.
Yeah, well, I think that's what
Wha
when I people have disguised boundaries to me as ultimatums. And that's when I'm like
Oh,
my whoop goes up and I know the difference intuitively, but that's why
yeah.
I think I used or interchanged because they it has been interchanged with um it's not a punishment towards others. I am not punishing other people. I've
No.
set limits on self. So that definition was something that I realize now was what has been or tried to push upon me was a rule or an ultimatum where
Yeah.
I felt like it was against me rather than, don't do this instead of, if this happens again or if this continues to happen, here's how I'm going to deal with it.
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimatums feel very, like, restrictive to me.
Yeah.
That word feels
Yeah.
like just pure restriction, right?
Well,
Like,
I think it's to control others, right?
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
And
a 100%.
I have
And
control issues.
you're so cute. Hey, you have been growing and growing and growing. Come on, give yourself some credit there,
Oh, I
right?
know I am. I know.
You are.
Yeah.
I th in order to have, I think, sovereignty of self and of your energy system and your nervous system, you have
Mm,
to be selfish. I think I think saying, being selfish is a bad thing, I think has been to the detriment of everybody
mm,
because no one's taking care of themselves,
mhm.
right?
Yes,
Which is why
yes,
we have the health movement now. It's why we have the workout movement. It's because people all of a sudden want to be a little bit selfish. They want to take care of themselves for selfish reasons, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing,
it is.
right?
Yeah,
For the most part, it's a good thing.
yeah.
So you keep being selfish and you set those boundaries for yourself. Cause what like let's put it in perspective. If you went and did all those things and disregarded everything that would make you feel good,
Mhm.
right? The version of you that everybody gets is gonna be what?
Watered down. They are getting the watered down version.
Right? They're getting
Yeah,
they're yeah, well, and they're not when you get to take space for yourself. They're not getting the watered down version. They're getting the version they've never seen before because you've not allowed yourself to be that.
right. But what I do find is I'm not following through. So I'll say no and I'll do this, but then I'll be like, okay, you know what? I can make it work. I can do this and then this and then I'll make it work and then I'll do this and then I'll get you there and then
So
yeah,
that's where so that's where you have to work on keeping the elastic
the
band tight
follow
and
through.
out a little,
Yes.
right? Yeah, the follow through of it,
I got to
which is
follow through. Okay.
yeah, it's the follow through for
Next.
sure. You've got
Yeah.
the essence of it and the idea of it. It's the follow through is always the hardest part. 'Cause it's the part that makes you wanna throw up because 'cause you're like, "I have to decide between me and
Yeah.
other people,"
Yeah.
right?
No. And I say to people all the time, unless your tank is full, you cannot give to others.
It's so true. I mean,
Mhm.
you're a better parent when your tank is full. The girls
Yeah.
get a better version of you, so they
Yeah.
learn to be a better version of them because your tank is full,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's such a crazy life is a crazy ride.
It really is. Oh
It really
God.
freaking is, right?
I know.
So, yeah.
So,
So,
if you've hung around this long, we
yes,
want to know,
congratulations.
what boundary are you going to start implementing?
Yes. And what does it make you feel like? I know we're not alone in the feeling that it's difficult. It makes you tense up. It makes your throat tense up. It makes like I've been fidgeting more, I think, on this podcast than I've fidgeted anywhere because I'm like, I've been shifting, my foot's been under me, and this and that and the other thing because I'm like, it's the whole topic is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And um it's something that I mean, I don't know if you ever stop learning how to create boundaries for yourself. Like I don't know if you ever do. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
I'm
what's your next boundary then? You just asked everybody else. What's yours?
Yeah. Well, I think the taking time for self boundary is going to be something, um with not needing to explain why I'm not responding to people as quickly as they would like me to. And
Yeah.
I mean, I need to maybe communicate it a little bit better in terms of, um, just so you know, I put my phone away after this time and I don't respond, or on the
Yeah.
weekends. Like, even the hockey teams that I'm associated with, I'm very clear usually to say, listen, I don't respond to people, like Friday night, the phones go away and I don't bring them back out. Like, there are exceptions to obviously every rule. And it's getting harder with kids out and about. Like, I need to be able to, uh, like Ella was just in a car accident, for example. So,
Yes.
I need to be able to see where my kids are and that they're
For
safe.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so I think time for self is a boundary. I'm also hyper independent, and in a lot of relationships that I get into, it feels like, it's seen maybe a little negatively, like that I'm so I like to, like, rejuvenate. I get my rejuvenation from reading a book or going for a hike and not having to really just. I don't wanna share my energy with anybody. I share my energy so much in readings and with
Amen. Yes,
students and with my children, and I'm like, I sometimes need solitude, and so I think,
I feel that.
um yeah, I feel like that's something that I really just need to, and so maybe um
I
energy
love
and
what you touched on without over explaining.
yeah,
When you
yeah.
start to create boundaries, and I remember being at that point too, when you start to create them, you over
Mhm,
explain everything
mhm,
because
mhm.
it's a self-defense mechanism to not feel the uncomfortableness that you're feeling instead of just, um, saying no or, "Hey, I'll get back to you when I get back to you," or see, what happens is with this dynamic of setting boundaries too is anybody who's got self-abandonment issues on the other end of who you're dealing with will automatically feel a boundary as abandonment. And I
Mm,
know because
mm,
I used to have abandonment issues as well. So
right.
I know what that feels like. Chris and I went through that because I always felt his small boundaries that he created for himself to sustain himself his whole life were made me feel like I was in abandonment, right? So
That
it's
makes
a play on energy. Like
so much sense. Wow.
we
Yes.
feel we feel ick because we can feel other people's ick as well. We can feel what that does, and being empaths, you can feel what your boundary will create for someone else, even though that's not has nothing to do with whether we should or not, but you can still feel it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
so now what
every
about you? What about you? So you've just gone through a week of boundaries, so maybe you don't need
oh
a
my
new
god.
one.
Yeah, right? I'm like, well, I The newest one that I think I will implement for myself will be around my own health, like my own being,
Mm,
and taking the boundary of taking time, like you said, but, like, actually taking time to regulate
mm,
morning and night, especially with all this hormone fluctuation and everything that we're going through.
mhm,
I want to be able to tamper down the nervous system.
mm,
So, I'm like that was one of the things I was thinking about. I'm like, I really wanna set something in the morning that I do and something at night before bed that I do, whether Chris is here or not, whether I'm with people or not, that I can step aside for 15 minutes and give that to myself and give that space to myself. Turn off the phone, turn off everything, and do whatever it is, right?
rejuvenate.
I don't like yoga, so it's gonna, stretching or like
Bowls.
stretching in my own way, sound
Yeah,
bowls, meditation, whatever the
yeah,
case is, but
yeah.
something for me morning and night to just and
Read a
not
book.
yeah,
Mm,
read a book, whatever,
yeah,
whatever to just
yeah,
to down regulate the crazy that is the hormones that we're living through.
yeah. And I have to tell you, I did not realize how desperately I needed to do that. And so it wasn't until I started doing yoga at the beginning of February that I sometimes go to 2 classes a day. It is
I love that
that
for you.
cherished. It is that mu like, I know I love yoga. I'm a yoga instructor. I know that I feel such peace when I do it, and I was just trying to do it, and I made a yoga room so that I could, like, try to get in
Mhm.
as much as I could, and I was waking up early to try to do it, and then I'm like, "I really like sleep. I really value sleep. I need sleep." Um, but going in the winter to this hot yoga place was I have
Yes.
never felt such gratitude that I have A, the money to do it because it's not inexpensive, and
Right?
B, that I've just made it a priority. I'm like,
A and it will pay back to
I
you.
feel how the joy that it brings me and the peace and the that I get.
Yeah,
I'm showing up better in so many more areas than I was. So yeah, I agree. Taking that
I love that.
space for you, even just starting at 15 and seeing how that works. And if it doesn't work enough, then maybe a little bit longer, you know?
Exactly. Well, and one of the things that I used to do back when I was a massage therapist was, like myofascial release. And I've just started getting back into that for myself, releasing fascia all over my body, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"I forgot
Mm.
how much I love this,"
Right?
right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
forgot how much that I love doing that. So now I've been doing that just for the last few days, and I'm like, "Oh, my nervous system feels so good because things are starting to, like, are getting limber and I'm moving again and stuff like that." So it's yeah, it's and I think as soon as you decide to create, like, a little boundary for yourself like that of, "I'm gonna find space for myself," something pops up. Whatever it is, like you said, book, whatever it is, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, I get it." And
Yeah.
yes, it might bother other people. I have to regulate. I have to be okay for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Well, this was a great
So good.
conversation.
It was so good. So,
Let's do
yeah, if
it.
you've stuck around this long, again, we thank you. We love our listeners.
Mhm.
Comment, share your boundaries and how easy, difficult, what you're feeling about it because I like the feedback. I like the input on everybody's life and ride and, how we're all tied together because 'cause we're
Yeah.
not alone in this for sure.
We are definitely not. Okay. Well, take
No.
care. Have a great rest of
Awesome.
your week.
Excellent. So, if you
I
haven't
will.
subscribed, go smash the
uh,
subscribe button, like, share this out, and thank you for being with Midlife with Mystics and Misfits. Till next time.
Bye, babe.
Bye.